I have been holding on to these scraps from the lovely honeybee collection from Carta Bella because I loved this collection. I've already made a more involved mini album, but I wanted to use up the rest of what I had to make an album. I wanted to keep it, but I wanted to use it. If it sits in the dark in my paper stash, nobody can see it. So I made a mini album using up the last of the scraps, and today I am going to show you that mini album. Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and this is Paper Stash Smash. For January, I decided to use up the papers in my stash to make more mini albums. So this is a 5.5 by 7.5 album. It has a 2-inch spine. At the end of this video, we'll talk tutorial. I used a 4x6 cut apart. I cut it down just a smidgen, put it on some black cardstock, and that is raised. I also had some chipboard elements, and I took some of the bees and put it on the front. Some of the paper, some of the coordinating paper. After I finished this, I made a couple of cards, and then I was done with the paper. Inside, I took this element that says "Be Happy" and put it up at the top so it would make a tuck spot for a photo. So this is a great spot to put a photo. The paper is so pretty. And then this is open at the bottom, and of course it's open at the top. And I also left it open at the side so I could have room to put this 4x4 cut apart. Now, you could put a photo on here, or you could just leave that in there. Or you could take it out and put it somewhere else entirely. Here's a good sized pocket, and inside the pocket is this little folder, and that gives you ample room to put more 4x6 photos. You could even cover this up if you wanted to. I wouldn't, but you could. I did ink this. I don't always ink things, but anything that's like vintagey, like this paper was, sort of lended itself to being inked. I also took advantage of the fact that these are hidden pocket pages, and at the top at the top I have this photo mat. Now, the reason it's cut apart here is because I'm using up scraps, and the scrap I had was that side. So that still gives you room to put a 4x6 photo and room to journal on the bottom. You could turn it upside down if you wanted to, but no, it makes more sense this way. So anyhow, there is that. The next page also has a pocket, and it also has a 4x6, well, to put 4x6 photos on, and those are just blank. You could put a small photo here. So there is that. So this is open. I did put powder on stickers to keep it open if I needed to keep it as a tuck spot. And speaking of tuck spots, tucked into the top of that is another piece of the paper and room to put your photos. All right. There. Okay, and here on this page, room to put your photo. I just took one of the stickers that says, "Honey, life is short, make it sweet." And I took a cut apart and put it on the front of this like collage paper. And again, this is a folder. I did folders because that gives you a lot of room to put photos. And also, I have room here to put yet more photos. Did I write down how many photos? I did. It's in my Etsy shop. I wrote down how many photos you can get in here, but there's a lot. Here is another folder in a pocket. I love these flowers. I thought they were super pretty. So I took a sticker, took another sticker and put it there. And this was just a little scrap. That was almost it. I think I cut off half an inch. But I loved this paper. You're just going to have to cover it because if you want to put a photo on there, you're going to have to cover some of it. Maybe put a small photo. here is our, I won't take it all the way out, but there is our hidden pocket page, as we have on the other ones. Love, love, love the bee paper. That is open a little bit, and then that says happy day. That says honey. You belong among the wildflowers. This was just off-white cardstock. It wasn't, I would run out of the solids that came with this, so it just was off-white cardstock, and I inked around the edges, and it looks perfect to go with the paper. Here is our bees up at the top, another row of bees, and think happy, be happy. So this is the last of the folders, I think. I might have one in the pocket, but room to add photos. Now, what could you use this for? If you're a beekeeper, yeah, or a gardener, or just your grandmother's photos. I don't know, anything. You could use this for anything. I love this paper, so I added another hive here with a couple of random bees. This is held down with a magnet that opens up. No, this is not a folder. It is just a single sheet. I always like pockets at the back of my albums because that's where you can put the very last of what you have to coordinate, like photos, napkins, newspaper clip, whatever. But any of that closes like that. There is the back page. Used a sticker on there. Pretty, pretty, pretty. There is our spine, and there we go. Okay, I promised I would talk tutorial at the end of the video, so let's talk tutorial. If you've been following along, you will know that I was having computer and video equipment problems when I was making these, so I could not do a tutorial. But I will put a poll up in my community tab, and whichever one my fans want to see is the one that I will do a tutorial on. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums that I have done during this time. Yeah, I was busy. That you may or may not want to see a tutorial on. Some are similar, so like I use the same measurements to make it. So it's entirely up to you. There is a tutorial on my channel on a fabulous album using the Honeybee collection. I love, love, love this collection. If I were to ever get another collection, it would be this Honeybee one. But I'm hoping that Carta Bella comes out with something else new. That is what I wanted to show you today. Thank you for watching, and have a beautiful day.